Mr. G Shave again, Head Shave Friday. Yeah, I think this is shave number 18. Watched a couple of head shave videos this week. IAMCDB or Chris, great head shave video using the leaf, and Jim Will Shave put out a video as well, both today I think. Jim doesn't often do head shaves on YouTube. I think both of the channels made a comment that people don't like head shavers on, or they don't like it as much, shall we say, as the face shave. I can understand that. I've never had any bad comments or any comments about that, but I think I probably get more views, but not many more views on my face shaves than I do on my head shaves. They're not far apart. But so head shave number 18. Today I am going with, I'm going to go usual root software first, Glyce pre-shave. I'm then following that up with St James of London Cedarwood and Clarysage. Once I've used this tube up, I'm definitely going to replace it. This is a really, really nice cream. I tend to use creams on my head and I prefer soaps on my face, but you know, there's no particular reason. I just find it easier doing head shaves. It's easier to just go straight to the brush and straight on the head rather than use a bowl, but you know, I can do either. No particular reason. So St James of London, Cedarwood and Clarysage. I'm following that up with 3 Boots products, mainly because it goes with the Cedarwood and the Clarysage, I guess, but tea tree being the operative word, but tea tree, witch hazel. I'm going to follow that up with Boots Freshwood aftershave, and then the same Freshwood from Boots Balm. Now I know I've used this recently. I'm not sure whether I use them both together, but I just thought, you know, I'm introducing, well, this St James of London Cedarwood and Clarysage isn't a new soap product, but I haven't used it for a while. Going back to my trusty Yaqi 28mm brush, synthetic, called a Betelgeuse. Its official name is Betelgeuse, but a lot of people call it the Bear. And obviously the leaf razor. These are the same Astra blades in there. Jim Will Shave, I think, used Persona Med Prep in his. I haven't tried those in that, and I might give it a go. But yeah, that's what I'm using today. So I'm going to get myself ready and I'll be right back. Right back. Right, where were we? I've wet my head down. I'm going to go on with the pre-shave. I don't normally show this, I don't think, but it's just like rubbing a bar of soap on your head, really. It will eventually probably form a bit of a thin lather. But if I were to use a brush on this, but I'm not going to, I'm just going to go ahead and let's put this over here. So squeeze out my brush, give it 1, 2, 3 shakes, and then straight in with the cream. I'm literally using probably not an almond sized piece, but pea sized or broad bean sized or whatever. So let's get that in there and go straight to the head. Hope everybody's had a good week. It's Friday. We have a chain in the UK It's a sort of a restaurant stroke bar called TGI Fridays. So thank God it's Friday, and I'm pretty sure that it's probably an American chain. But if it isn't, it's quite a good name for a chain of restaurants. Adding some water. Whoop. Most of that water got away. I'm going to turn that sound off in a second. Apologies for that. Need some more water. Yeah, Jim gets quite a lot of lather on his head. I tend to go for a thicker, drier lather. I suppose if I bowl lathered, I'd probably get more. But this is the way I kind of like my lather. Quite dry, quite thick and creamy. His video is about how he shaves his head and his technique. I'm actually going to go with more water here because I think this could really do. This is really soaking up the water. And that's, you know, I'm going to show you my technique today. I mean, if those of you who've been following me know my technique. He has a slightly different way of doing things. I do sort of a 2-pass shave, and then I'll do a pickup afterwards. He does effectively a 1-pass shave, and then sort of in his second pass he does the pickups at the same time. So my first pass is always with the grain, and you don't need to apply a lot of pressure with this, although you can kind of get away with it. Now Jim goes all the way across. I tend to just do the sides because that's where all my hair is. And I go with the grain straight down. Everybody has a different technique. I'm not saying my technique's better than his. You know, that's his technique is the one that suits him. This is the technique I've used pretty much from the word go. I haven't tried another technique. I might try it. But what I tend to do is I go all the way back, front to back, on my first pass, and then back to front on my second pass against the grain pass. That's just the way I tend to do it. But there's no right and wrong way. It's just you do it the way that you feel most comfortable with. I had a comment from someone asking, it was quite a good question actually. He sort of wanted me to use car analogy in terms of using cartridge razors, safety razors, or a leaf razor on your head, and was one a sports car, was one a, I don't know, a cheap dumpster or whatever. But I've answered it the only way I kind of knew how. As Jim says, this is not a cartridge razor, and Chris has also said that. Chris from IAMCDB. This is not a cart razor. It uses DE blades, and you can't buy a cartridge for this. It has a similar idea to a cartridge razor, but you fit your own blades, and the blade, the gap between the blades is much wider, and therefore it doesn't clog like a cartridge razor does. Having said that, I've got nothing against cartridge razor in the fact that they'll give me a very good shave, but they're very expensive, and I personally don't think they give me as good a shave as the leaf does. That could be down to the leaf razor, it could be down to the blade, or a combination of both. but I just don't feel that I get as good a shave with a cartridge razor, whether that be a Mach 3, and I've got both, and I use both. You know, occasionally if I cut myself badly, I'll probably go to the Mach 3 or the Gillette Fusion, just to give myself a bit of a break. And I've cut myself a few times with the leaf razor, and if I'm honest, you can cut yourself with a cartridge razor if you abuse it. I mean, you cut yourself with anything if you abuse it. So, but you are more likely to cut yourself with a cartridge razor, with a leaf razor, than you are with a cartridge. So, second pass. Always get all the way down the back of your neck, because I think it was Jim Will Shave said, you know, he'd been on a bus and seen somebody had shaved their head, but they'd forgotten to do their neck, and that can look pretty awful. I would agree with that. I've never seen it myself, but yeah, I can imagine that looks pretty bad. I don't get on many buses though, so I can't honestly say that I would get the opportunity to notice that. I think that's something that you'd only notice on something like public transport, where all you can do is sit and watch people. But yeah, and you know, I think he drives buses anyway, so he's going to get lots of passengers. He sees more people than I do. Right, so second pass against the grain. I've got soap on the handle, which I really don't like. That's the one downside to the leaf razor. The handle gets very slick if you get soap on it. It's you've got to make sure there's no soap on that handle. If you get any soap on the handle, you need to rinse it off. Otherwise, it can slip in your hand. I noticed Jim Will Shave cut himself on a little bump on his head. That's something the leaf will do. If you've got a little pimple on your head or an old cut, it can reopen those quite easily. So this is where I go from back to front. Yeah, and watching Chris's video, you know, he was also using the leaf. He's got the same leaf that I have, the black one. I think Jim's got a silver one, which looks quite nice. If you're thinking of getting one of these, I highly recommend you watch, well, you've seen this black one, but watch Jim Will Shave his video, because then you'll get an idea of what the silver one looks like. But yeah, Chris's topic was about people being nice to one another, and I fully agree with everything he said. You know, if you're, he was talking mainly about, you know, not putting people down. I think, and also certain products. I think it's important to point out that certain products will suit different people in different ways. Some people will like them, some people won't like them. And if ever I don't like a product, I always try and make a point of saying, you know, but actually that's my opinion. You should go and try it for yourself. Because everybody experiences these products in different ways. Their skin types are different, and so on and so forth. So it's always worth trying something out, giving it a go. Get a sample of it. If you don't want to jump straight in and buy a big puck or a big tube of the cream, only to find out it doesn't suit your skin type. If you can get samples, that's a good way to go. If you're not sure. Right. So that's my second pass. I was going to turn the notifications off on my phone, so let's just bear with me. I'm going to pause it 1 second. Okay, that's done. Turn the sound off. So I actually do a third pass, which is just a pickup pass, whereas Jim does his pickup pass in his second pass. I have this separate pickup pass. So each to their own. I enjoy this method. I don't bother with the top of my dome because there's never any hair there anyway, so as I've made comments before. So I just, against the grain again, but this time I come around the ear and slightly down. I think, you know, he basically pulls his skin up like that. I don't seem to have that problem. My ear shape is probably more conducive to just catching it by going up and down. So I don't have the problem with not getting it. I mean, right there, right in the crease there, I'd probably use a DE. If I'm going to try and get in there, and occasionally I will. But if I'm honest, in the time that I've been head shaving, and that's 18 shaves, I've probably only done that once or twice. But yeah. Now going back to Chris's, the points Chris was making on IAMCDB. And if you haven't seen him, I really recommend you go to his channel and to Jim's channel. Two different perspectives. But, you know, the way I look at things is if you've got nothing positive to say about a product, if you're going to criticize it, it has to be constructive criticism. It has to be criticism that maybe the manufacturer, if they watch the video, can do something about. If you're just going to turn around and say this soap's, excuse my language, if I offend anybody I apologise, but if you just turn around and say this soap's crap, that's your personal opinion. You know, somebody else might actually find that soap's really good. Some people really don't like tobacco soap and others love it. I love it. I fall within the camp of, you know, I absolutely love tobacco soap. It's one of my favourite soaps, but there are a lot of people who really don't like the scent. So if you're going to criticise something, it has to be constructive criticism and done in a polite manner, and one that isn't there to try and put a company out of business or hurt a company, because that's hurting people's jobs. So I fully agree with Chris on that. If somebody needs to be called out because they've said something that really is unacceptable, then yeah, I'll call them out as anybody would. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you try and be kind to everybody, life would be, you know, much happier for everybody. If you can't say something constructive and it's going to sound nasty, then don't say it. Unless you have to, unless you feel you have to say it, you're calling somebody out on something that they've said or done, some action they've committed or whatever, that is completely unacceptable, then fair enough. But other than that, I tend to avoid criticising anything unless I feel it deserves criticism, and only constructive criticism. I will never criticise anybody personally. I think everybody has a right to their own view. You can have a debate, a friendly debate, and as long as you respect one another, and it, you know, but other than that, you know, there's no point in falling out. It just makes everybody unhappy. But anyway, so that's about Chris's video. I'm going to clean up and I'll be right back. Right, I'm back, all cleaned up. I tend to The reason I always cut off for a clean-up job is I actually go the whole hog, clean up the razor using a toothbrush and soaps and all sorts. So I take a little bit of time. So it's just the way that I do things. I find if I do that, then you know it's all ready for next time. So right, so cold rinse. Oh, that's really cold. It's getting a bit chilly here of an evening. Just put some more water on. Get the alum block. Yeah, it's definitely, you can feel winter's on its way, I think. The leaves aren't changing yet, so you know we've still got quite a lot of foliage out there, but you can definitely on some nights feel the chill in the air. I've gone and got some of this stuff in my eye again. Oh, not a lot, but enough to make me squirm. So yeah, definitely winter is on its way. So I salute you those in Australia, the other side of the world, where summer's just coming in. I wish I was with you. No, I don't mind. I actually like the change in seasons, and especially here in the UK, and I'm guessing in certain parts of the States as well. The way the colours gradually change, and you get these mixed ochres and golds and browns, and just stunning. Some of the autumn scenery, and then in the winter you have the frosts and the snow if you get it. I mean, we haven't been getting a lot of snow, but I don't think we actually got any snow last year. And I remember days when I was younger where we'd get feet of snow, or not a metre, but half a metre snow, no problem. But those days have all gone. But yeah, I haven't seen snow around here probably for a couple of years. And when I say haven't seen snow, I mean proper snow. The kind of stuff that, you know, might get over your Wellington boots. But yeah, have to go up to Scotland for that kind of snow, or further north at least. Right, let's get this off. That alum, as you saw with that cut that was on my head, stopped it straight away. So alum works for most cuts. You only need a nick stick for the ones that alum can't handle, and I haven't had one of those in a long time. So I think the last time I had one of those is when I used the shavette, that feather shavette, and that was a lovely cut. But yeah, so that's that. Right, let's go on with the witch hazel. So yeah, I put some cards up around now in the video to link to the two videos that I watched that I've commented on. The message really I'm trying to get across is that everybody has their own method of doing things, whether that be shaving, whether that be swimming, whether that be driving. You know, we all have our differences, which is, as I've said in a different video, that makes life interesting. Doesn't mean to say that our technique is the best technique. Our technique, or my technique, just suits me. It's the way I like to do things. Jim's technique suits him. This is the way he likes to do things, and Chris's technique equally suits him. So, you know, you can't criticise people for a technique that may look weird to you. If it works for them, that's great, you know. Right, on with the Boots aftershave, the Freshwood. And the other message behind that is be kind. Don't be nasty to people. There's lots going on in the world that, you know, can make people sad and depressed and things like that. You don't need other people having a dig at you, or digging at other people just to be spiteful. There's no point in being spiteful. Just be kind to people, and if you're kind to people, you'll find people will be kind back. And if they're not, then just avoid them in future. They're not the kind of people you want to be dealing with. It's their loss. They're the ones that are going to be lonely at the end of the day. Right, so a bit deep, the end of that. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for the face shave. Not sure what I'm going to use. I'm thinking about doing a comparison video. The fine Marvel razor versus the Merca 34 or versus the Edwin Jagger. I'm not sure. Do one side with one razor and one side with the other. But we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Oh, it's bye-bye from me. Bye-bye from the Leaf Razor. I'll see you tomorrow.